Greetings everyone, Unsafe Kibble here, coming to you with another Zelda 3-Heart playthrough. This game is Minish Cap. For our first boss, we've got this giant green slime. Seems to be a common feature in Zeldas. The basic idea is you want to use your wind jar to suck up its feet on the bottom until it's unstable. It was sometimes tricky to keep the head from slamming on me to get the flawless kill, but when his head falls down, you wail away, and that's pretty much the entire fight. No second phase, except after you've downed him twice, he'll jump around, I think, 5 times. So that's sometimes frustrating to deal with, but if you roll, you're good to go. Alright, probably the longest first boss leads us into our second boss, our fire boss. This one was a bit tricky for me to figure out at first. I don't know if rolling has invincibility frames at the start, but it certainly felt like it, and you'll see why later in this boss. You want to use your cane to flip over the shell on the boss's back, run across the neck, and then absolutely just start wailing. He will dive back into the lava. Rocks will fall. The easiest way to avoid the rocks I found was to stay against the wall. You want to circle around him and try to get the timing right to knock the shell off. I do it ideally right here because I'm on the same side as the neck, and you just beat him. He'll go to phase 2, which is right here, which starts with a large rock fall. Again, iframes on the roll. I don't know if they actually are there, but they appear to exist. The lava pool is going to expand to push you to that outer edge, so rolling is going to be necessary. Once that's done, you just absolutely repeat the process. If you need to put out the fire, you can either swipe the fire with your sword for some reason, or you can pull out your wind bag and suck the air away. Once you have smashed him enough, that's the fight. Alright, the very first boss to take advantage of the Minish capabilities in the game. This was actually probably the funniest permutation of this type of Zelda boss that I've had so far. Zelda bosses with hands that you have to knock out in order to damage the head are common. Bongo Bongo in Ocarina of Time. Wind Waker has one. The Rock Beast in Oracle, so they're all there. use your arrow, fire into the eyeballs, wail, do that on both hands. They're going to try to hit you. Once that's down, you go Minish. You're going to run into its mouth and run up and beat this pillar. Simple as can be. For phase 2, you have to use the rock mittens to get through and break the pillar. This enters him into phase 3 where he gets an extra attack from his face. He kind of spits out his tongue. Not hard to avoid, and he goes down pretty quick, and then that's it. Enjoy the rest of the fight. Man, I hate sliding around in Zelda fights, but here we are. We've got our water ice boss, giant Octorock. He's going to shoot 3 rocks at you. You hit him. He's going to ice over. You picked up the lantern in this dungeon, so you're going to light the lantern on fire, and then you want to bump into his tail. This causes the ice to melt and him to thaw and sends you back into the water mode, where he's going to shoot the rocks at you again, and you got to reflect them back. Again, rolling when he's got the rocks falling from the ceiling. Very common. Why Zelda is obsessed with these random rock falls, I do not know. It takes 3 rounds to get him down. He will pick up a charge at some point and try to suck you in. You avoid the sucking in by rolling to the side, and that's it. Okay, so Zelda doesn't have boss health bars, so boss door requiring boss key equals boss. So I was dropping into this. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. Turns out that it's a Darknut. I started talking about this one early, and I showed the full lead up into the fight because, believe it or not, you can actually knock the Darknut off the edge, and that's all the fight. The end. That was fun to find out. Where Flawless died. as you can see, I got hit jumping off that boss. I had absolutely zero desire to proceed at that point with trying to get flawless. When you copy yourself on those spears, this first phase is really simple. Nothing's coming at you. It's literally just find the pattern, hit the boss. You then need to jump on the little stingray. The little stingray is not very hard. For the opening, you want to start off with a spinning attack. The tail will then spin over the top you. You're going to jump. A single jump will make it, and then you smack the eye, and then the tail comes again if you don't manage to get him down. Once you're back on the large stingray, you're doing the same thing, but this time the little stingray is going to be flying through the screen, and it's also going to shoot orbs at you. You can actually reflect those orbs with your sword. I did not know that initially here, which is why I'm trying to go around them rather than actually attacking them. Found that out by accident well into the fight. But once you manage to stun the eyes and break the eyes, you're going to move into phase, gosh, what's this going to be? 4, which is the little stingray again, or little stingray phase 2. Jump on its back. It's going to do the same thing, except it's going to be a lot faster this time with the way it does its tail, and it's also got these little stingrays which are launched out of the big stingray's mouth, which fly at you. So avoiding all that, smack the eye. You'll notice at this point, besides that initial jumping off the stingray hit, I've been flawless. It's at this point, jumping back on, that I notice I've been hit. I was a little shocked and fell off. But now we're into another phase. Nothing different about this phase from the previous one. Pop the eyes. That's where I found out you could deflect them with your sword. Once the eyes pop, we're going to go back onto the little stingray again. Hung out around the big stingray. You want to jump off and not fall like I did, but who cares? It's not flawless at this point. And you're into the final phase now, which is basically just like the very first phase. There's no little stingray flying around, but these babies appear. If you keep smacking the eyes enough, you won't have to deal with them because he goes down pretty damn quick at this point. And if you can believe it or not, we're already to the final boss. So the boss fights appeared to be longer than previous Zelda games, but there appeared to be far less of them. Still didn't prepare you for the upscale in difficulty of this fight. So for phase 1, Vaati Reborn, you want to break these eyes that are flying around Vaati, and then she will teleport around the room, and you need to smack her until she stops. When she moves into phase 2, she will get these eyes will get protective shells around them. You need to switch to your wind pot, pull the protective shell off, and destroy the eyes again. She will randomly launch fire at you, so you have to watch for that too. Same process though. Once the shell's off, you break the eyes, and then you're going to smack her in the center eye shape. She will teleport around the room several times, but eventually stop. Once you manage to hit her, she's going to move on to a different phase. And with that, we're moving on to phase 2 of the Vaati fight. I hate this phase so damn much. I don't know what else to say. I can't shoot arrows. Um, it's going to launch landmines at you. There are projectiles coming. You have to do pattern spawning of your clones so that you can smack the eyes. It's the most ridiculous piece of shit fight in this entire game. It sucks so much. I hope that's enough. The basic idea is get your bow out, shoot the eyes surrounding the large center eye. The eyes will turn red or blue. If they're blue, you just ignore them. If they're red, they're part of the pattern. Once you know the pattern, you spawn your clones on the sword power cloning pad and go up and smack them in the eyes. Eventually, the eyes on the external part will break, and you can wail on the center eye. You have to do this like 4 times. It takes 400 years. I don't know what else to say. wasn't enough. Here we come rolling into phase 3. Thankfully, phase 3 was a lot more enjoyable than phase 2. It's broken into essentially 2 different parts. Part 1 is dealing with the arms. You're going to avoid side swipes and projectiles until she stabs her arm into the ground and sends the arm coming up through the air. At that point, you want the cane, and you're going to hit it with the cane, which causes it to rise out of the ground. You're going to go Minish, enter it, find the eye with the actual eye inside it. So you can see all of those kind of have dead, non-moving eyes, but one of them has a red eye that actually moves with you. You want to find that, bash it until it blows up. If you don't do it fast enough, you get rejected from the arm. Thankfully, I managed to kill it before I got rejected, but I still got rejected. You then need to somehow avoid it, get back up, go big, do the same thing with the other arm, at which point you're rolling into the second part of the fight. Alright, part 2 begins. You want to go back large again. This time, there are going to be 2 attacks coming from the boss. Orb projectiles and 4 laser beams out of the eyes. The way you damage the boss is by creating your clones again and volleying the attack back at the boss. You see me cancel the fact that I have clones several times until the end when I'm really just freaking out and trying to stay on top of it. If the clones get hit by the projectile, you take damage too rather than just vanishing, so that's a new mechanic in the final boss fight. You don't just want to spam your sword attacks, because I found that that was very unhelpful for actually getting the deflection to hit them. But you're going to do this 3 times, and then that's going to be your victory. So Minish Cap done, on to another Zelda game, just like that.